UFC 258 is in the books. Kamaru Usman is still the UFC welterweight champion, and he's broken GSP's record, 13 wins in a row, now the longest win streak in UFC welterweight history. Welcome to Cage Minds MMA show. UFC 258 is where we're going to start, but let's work our way up. I mean, the first thing that caught my attention, and let's toss back a six-pack of highlights from this UFC 258 event. First thing to catch my attention was Polyana Viana being able to submit Mallory Martin. In 2021, in this day and age of MMA, you don't pull guard. Well, unless you've won 23 state championships in Brazil. Viana pulling guard, going to her back, then twisting up Mallory Martin, first threatening with the triangle and then able to get the submission with the armbar. Incredibly impressive finish right there. We'll keep on moving up the card, go to the welterweight division, and Belal Muhammad, we will remember his name, and people need to give him the respect. An incredible striking display against Diego Lima. Lima was consistently attacking that low leg kick, but Muhammad consistently applied pressure early on, blasting away the body. More headhunting later, breaking Lima's nose, it looked like. A healthy dose of the jab followed by that right cross. A great display of striking from Belal Muhammad, who sadly has to find himself in the top 10 of the UFC's welterweight division going forward. Upset of the night came early as Anthony Hernandez submits renowned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Rodolfo Vieira with a guillotine. Vieira early on was able to get Hernandez to the ground, was hunting for submissions, was threatening all the time, but the heavily muscled middleweight found himself gassing quickly, and Hernandez just kept trucking a line, grinding through the fight, and when he was able to get back to his feet, was just punishing Vieira with strikes from distance, to the point where Vieira was forced into a bad shot in the second round, and Fluffy jumps all over the arm in guillotine, so somebody not really known in the jiu-jitsu world submits a jiu-jitsu superstar in an MMA match. Great win for Hernandez. Go on over to the opening bout of the pay-per-view card, and in the middleweight division, Julian Marquez. It was a return from over 2 years away, a plethora of injuries, and Maki Pitola was awaiting. The Hawaiian came in with a good game plan, attacking the wrestling, not trading with the Cuban Missile Crisis, but it was digging down deep late in the fight. Marquez able to land some big shots, hurt Pitolo, force Pitolo into a bad shot, and roll into an Anaconda choke for the finish. So a great win. Not such a great promo, but he did get a Valentine from Miley Cyrus, so everything's looking up for Julian Marquez. We go to the co-main event where Alexa Grasso showed off her striking. There have been a lot of questions about her now being up at 125 pounds. How would she deal with bigger, stronger fighters? And we saw she was able to get the underhooks, win in the clinch, and her counter striking was impeccable. Just beating up Macy Barber. A unanimous decision. Those first 2 rounds going in the favor of Grasso before Barber just hit the fuck it button and went all out in the 3rd round. Then we go to the main event, the teammate versus teammate scenario. Gilbert Burns came out hard, came out fast, clipped Usman early, and the challenger had the champion on the ropes. But as the champion does, Usman, with his composure, was able to find the way to make damage happen to Burns, and it was through the jab. Through the jab, and then coming over top with the right hand, to the point where in the 3rd round, opening it up, Usman changed from his conventional stance to the southpaw stance, putting his power hand in front, and it was a power jab dropping Burns, and Usman gets the finish on the floor. So you now have 3 successful title defense from Kamaru Usman, and again, to reiterate, a 13-fight win streak in the UFC's welterweight division. Coming off the successful title defense, you got to say to yourself, what's next for Kamaru Usman? What's next for the champion? Well, thankfully, he made that easy for us in his post-fight interview, calling out Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal has done an ingenious job. He took the fight with Usman back at UFC 251 on short notice. He's used that point that it was on short notice to campaign his way back into title contention without actually participating in another UFC fight. He has done such a job of annoying Kamaru Usman that Usman wants to shut up Masvidal. So Masvidal, through the forms of social media and trash talking, has put himself in the perfect spot. A spot where the champion is annoyed. The UFC also right now is looking to relaunch and reestablish their Ultimate Fighter reality series. Be the perfect time for an annoyed champion and a trash-talking challenger to have to spend many weeks in Vegas in front of each other. It could be TV magic for ESPN Plus, and reportedly it's on the table right now currently with the UFC. So that's where we could see the champion next, and looks like the most likely avenue. If you're looking for, well, who's on the biggest win streak and deserving this title opportunity, that's where the picture gets muddled up a little bit. Leon Edwards, 8-fight win streak, second biggest in the division, next to the champion. Unfortunately, he hasn't fought over a year due to COVID-19, and his upcoming main event against Kazimierz Chimaev is currently in limbo, as Chimaev has had to withdraw due to lingering effects from COVID-19. Leon Edwards has called out the likes of Nate Diaz and Colby Covington. Great matchups. Hopefully somebody steps up to the plate so we can see the number 3 ranked contender back in the octagon sooner than later. It's been way too long. The UFC wasn't the only MMA game in town this past weekend. Got 3 stars for you from Titan FC 67 this past Friday. It was in Miami, Florida on UFC Fight Pass. We'll start out with the stoppage of the night, and that was Adrian Garcia against Rudy Isidro, and the two fighters going back and forth with that straightforward kick to the body, the teep kick. And it was Garcia's doing the major damage, getting to the sternum of Isidro's, taking out all the wind, and leading to the victory. So Adrian Garcia with the finish of the night for Titan FC 67. We also saw 2 title fights at that event, and Olivier Mourad defeated Muhammad Naimov via unanimous decision to pick up the vacant Titan FC Featherweight Championship. Came out hard in the first round. Some beautiful strikes in the clinch, cutting Naimov open. Naimov was able to get the fight to the ground in the second and third rounds before the striking of Mourad's paid off in the fourth. And Olivier switching the game up in the fifth, getting the much needed takedown and spending that round on top, shocking everybody, again to capture that Titan FC title. Up to the main event, and it was the Bantamweight Championship on the line. Contender Series alum Danny Sabatella defending against Damon Blackshear, and it was the wrestling of Sabatella to not be denied, and it was all one-rate traffic, as relentless chain wrestling was the recipe. Sabatella not landing much damage, but suffocating pressure, top control, only one way for the judges to go. Not the finish that the UFC brass had told Sabatella they were looking for him to get him to that next level. But still a dominant performance from a man who, if you follow him on social media, has a lot of trash talk. If you don't like his grind-it grappling style, he's inviting you to come stop it if you think you can. Also Friday night on UFC Fight Pass, there was LFA 99, and we got 4 stars from LFA 99. Started off with Darian Weeks. This young welterweight looks like big things are definitely coming in his future. Powerful striking, aggressive and relentless, taking out Craig Fairley, getting that done in just under 7 minutes. So we just got into that second round. Big, nasty punches from Weeks, who can also blast away with knees in the clinch. Best submission on the card, that came via Cody Brundage. The Factory X fighter showed off the involvements of his grappling early, letting the hands free flow. And then in the third round, when he needed it, able to get the fight to the ground and from the mount hop into an arm triangle choke and get Joe Cropshot out of there 39 seconds into the third round. In the co-main event, it was lightweights and it was one-way traffic as Brant Moore took Ago Usyk to the ground at will, was manipulating and controlling Usyk everywhere. The only options for Ago was to beg the referee for a stand-up, which inexplicably and confusingly he actually got at one point the very worst stand-up I've ever seen in MMA. There's actually an award for that. Yes, I'm giving it to this fight, to that referee. Horrible stuff. But Brant Moore, dominant. Hopefully the next time we're seeing him, it's in an LFA lightweight title fight. He's definitely earned it. We go up to the main event. We're talking about earning it. The light heavyweight title for the LFA was up for grabs as former Legacy FC and Tough, also Glory Kickboxing alum Myron Dennis, took on Contender Series alum Fabio Cherant. You had a whole lot of striking experience and overall experience from Myron Dennis coming in. Well, Cherant had about a third the experience Dennis did. This one will play out on the feet for the majority of the fight. And it was Cherant coming out with a strong jab, busting Dennis open. But the veteran was not deterred, firing back with a plethora of low leg kicks and doing his best to try to fight back. But Cherant, this young man, was not to be denied. The southpaw had a beautiful jab going, his straight left shooting either to the face or to the body, just a spearing straight left. Also really loved the uppercut that Cherant was bringing, whether it was in the southpaw stance and bringing it as a power uppercut, or when he changed to orthodox and led with that uppercut. It was a beautiful punch from that young man who is able to overcome the unfortunate passing of his mother 3 weeks ago. He makes it through camp, he holds it together, and he wins the LFA light heavyweight title across the boards. 2 judges had it 3 rounds to 2, 1 judge going 4 rounds to 1, and Fabio Cherant, major improvements from when we saw him on the Contender Series. A great win. Forgot to also mention, when they got into the clinch, firing away with nasty knees to the body. The light heavyweight division has traditionally been one of the most impressive in all of combat sports. We know that Bellator, with their announcement of their light heavyweight Grand Prix, is looking to bring some attention back to that division. UFC 259, headlined by the light heavyweights. And Fabio Cherant is another young light heavyweight to keep an eye on and to remember the name. There was one more event Friday night that took place on UFC Fight Pass, and that was Lion Fights 63. Lion Fights has found a new home, and that is on UFC Fight Pass for the top North American Muay Thai promotion. One big takeaway from that card, and it was the main event. Hassan Oseli runs his record to 9-1, defeating Chris Trammell, and he did so in devastating fashion, as it was the right hooks going around the guard before Trammell left his guard wide open and the right hook landed clean to the chin. The knockout comes in 1 minute and 25 seconds, but unfortunately Oseli had missed weight yesterday and the North American Cruiserweight title is now vacant. But Oseli should have punched his way to another title opportunity after that devastating performance. Let's go to the ring real quick. As Saturday, there was Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. Jared Anderson, composure for a young fighter with only 8 professional fights. Now after this victory, there is a hope for heavyweights from America. His name is Jared Anderson. The kid throws in combination. He's heavy-handed. He's methodical. He has a well-thought-out process. He's working with that Terrence Crawford team. All of those are positives, and it was a positively amazing performance with the 6-round knockout on Saturday. Everybody knows, if you paid attention to Cage Minds, do a lot of coverage here of the New Mexico local boxing scene. And we had Jason Sanchez from Sanchez Brothers Boxing right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the co-main event of that ESPN top-ranked boxing card against Adam Lopez. I know that there is some controversy about that card. I really thought it was close. 6 rounds to 4, 4 rounds to 6, 5 to 5. Could have went any of those directions. Felt that Sanchez was doing a great job applying pressure, working the body early. Lopez was able to find his groove and get his jab going and really solidified in the face of Sanchez for the next couple rounds. And then those last 2 rounds, Sanchez got the momentum going back in his favor, was able to get that aggression and pressure going. It was a hard loss to swallow because it's close on the cards, but it was one heck of a fight, and both fighters really did take a giant step forward. Not to mention the main event, if you haven't seen it, Richard Cormier has a deadly right hand and put down his opponent with a tremendous knockout. And that's everything from last weekend. CageMinds.com, ready and willing for any paid partnerships, sponsorships, or advertising needs that you may have. UFC 259 is 2 weeks away, and to get us all ready for that huge event, I was able to talk to Jordan Espinosa, so let's hear some of that great interview now.
There's no really any big surprises when it comes to Tim Elliott. He kind of has been fighting the same way forever. Very tough, very in-your-face, awkward, ugly striking, head on the outside single. He's going to be relentlessly attacking submissions. He's going to be relentlessly throwing elbows and stuff from off his back. You're probably going to be in wild scrambles with him on the ground, but the thing is, he doesn't stop. He'll keep coming. He'll keep pursuing the takedown. He'll keep throwing shit in your face, and that's what we expect. It's a high-paced fight. He's generally in fights where both fighters or he gets a bonus. So I'm trying to be in one of those too.
Is it nice to fight a guy now with so much film, with so much tape that, like you said, he's a veteran and we've all seen him for quite a while?
Yeah, I've been watching Tim Elliott since before he was on The Ultimate Fighter. Like, I've been well acquainted with Tim Elliott and his game for quite some time. He's training up at Glory MMA. I was out there last year. So I'm pretty acquainted with what he has to bring to the table. And I respect it. I'm not worried about it. And I feel like I have the skill set and the athleticism, the speed, and everything else to beat him. But yeah, so it's a little bit easier when there's like fucking so much tape on him. But that could also be a little deceiving. I don't go back and watch things from 10 years ago. I've watched some of his more recent stuff. But like I said, I don't feel like much has really changed with his style. He fights kind of the same. And I think that's going to be good for me.
So you expect this fight automatically, it's going to hit everywhere because he likes to cause those scrambles. He likes to come forward. He has awkward movement. You have pretty movement. He has awkward movement, I feel like.
I like to think so. He definitely has awkward movement on the feet. Even his like wrestling and grappling is a little awkward. He'll take chances and put himself in bad positions. But yeah, I mean, I think if I can keep him from taking me down, or at least make him work for the takedowns, he does have a tendency to, if he's pushing takedown, and you stuffed him or make it work for him, he tires out a little bit. But with the wrestling heavy game like that, like how can you not? I do expect him to be in really good shape, so maybe he won't. But I do think I could frustrate him, one, just by making him pay on his takedown attempts, because there's zero doubt in my mind he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot 100%. I trained with them last year. He wasn't there. He was in Vegas, I believe. But I trained with them last year. There's zero doubt in my mind they're going to tell him to try to take me down. But that's what he does every fight anyway. He took down Demetrius Johnson several times. So that's what I'm expecting. And if not, if it's a stand-up battle, I think that favors me all day. He's slow on the feet. I don't think he has much power. He's not very athletic. Like I said, he's real awkward. As long as I don't stay flat-footed, and just like watch him do his weird, awkward, ugly, wannabe Dominic Cruz type footwork, then I think I'll be all right.
I'm not saying I think it's going to be a key, but we didn't see much of your jab in the last fight. Is that something you kind of want to get back to in this one?
Oh yeah, for sure. My jab's always a big tool for me. I guess in the last fight it was just weird because I felt he was a decent counter. So whenever I try to throw much of anything or even like dart in for anything, like he would kick my leg. And so then I was like, oh shit. And then I wasn't setting up other stuff off of that. And so that was on me. But yeah, for sure, 100%. My jab is one of my best weapons. And that's definitely going to be something that I'm going to use this fight.
To hear the complete interview with Jordan Espinosa, go to cageminds.com or keep searching through Cage Minds MMA Show YouTube channel for the entire full-length interview. What do we have to look forward to this coming week? Well, we got two big MMA events. We'll start off with Friday night and UFC Fight Pass. It's time to hit the century mark for Legacy Fighting Alliance, LFA 100. Started back in 2017, and here we are, like I said, at the century mark. Going to be an incredible event. The main event, the flyweight title, is up for grabs. It's currently vacant. And Victor Altamirano, 8-1, all 8 wins, coming inside the LFA Octagon, is going to be taking on 6 days' notice, Nate Smith, 6-1, a Contender Series alum who we saw victorious at LFA 85, answering the call, is on the short list for the UFC. Dana had even invited him back for a second opportunity on the Contender Series. Altamirano, all 8 wins, again, in the LFA, 5 finishes, 4 by submission. Nate Smith, 4 finishes, 3 submissions, 3 rear naked chokes in a row. It's going to be an action-packed fight. I've never heard 2 guys more confident. It's hard to pick a winner. It's going to be an incredible battle of 2 guys that have ground skills. Both have Taekwondo black belts. And both guys you can hear from if you search the Cage Minds MMA Show YouTube channel or go to cageminds.com. Phenomenal interviews with both. Then you also have a great co-main event. It's the second LFA middleweight tournament semifinals. Anthony Adams, 8-2, taking on Gregory Rodriguez, who's 7-3. Adams, a technical striker, composed, a ton of experience, has been around this Southwest regional scene forever, can sprawl and brawl with the best of them. Going to be taking on Rodriguez, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, who looks to grapple and throw big single power shots to get his way into the inside. Got some great prospects also on the card. Flyweight Carly Flanagan, who's 6-0, 4 wins by knockout, 2 submissions. You also have powerful Hawaiian Christian Navidad and Gerald Scott. So a great card on UFC Fight Pass Friday night, LFA 100. Then Saturday, starting early, if you're on the Pacific time zone, about 5 p.m. in the East Coast, you have UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Lewis on Saturday. It's an ESPN Plus exclusive. Curtis Razor Blaydes is 14-2. He's the number 2 ranked heavyweight contender. Well, Derek Blackbeast Lewis comes in at 24-7, the number 4 ranked contender. We know about the incredible power that Lewis possesses, one of the greatest knockout artists in UFC heavyweight history. We've seen the guy get out of uncomparably bad grappling positions with just his raw power. Forget technique, but that black beast just throwing guys around power. It's like Hulk smash when the guy is on top of you with the ground and pound. And we saw it even getting outclassed in a technical level for 3 rounds against Alexander Volkov. Lewis still had the power late in the 3rd round to score the knockout. On the other side, we're looking at Curtis Blaydes, the only person that has found the keys to success to beat Curtis Blaydes has been Francis Ngannou, and it's been the big overhand right. So you're saying there's a chance with the knockout power of Derek Lewis that he can hurt Curtis Blaydes. It's a possibility. But Curtis Blaydes is one of the most accurate and most active takedown artists in UFC history. His ground and pound is vicious. Nobody will ever forget the elbow that came crashing between the guard of Alistair Overeem to splice Overeem wide open in the forehead and just become a bloody mess from the Blaydes ground and pound. Also getting it done on the feet, Curtis Blaydes got his first legitimate on the feet knockout, putting down former heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos, so developing a plethora of skills of everywhere that they go. We know that UFC 260, the main event, is going to see Stipe Miocic defending the heavyweight title for a second time against Francis Ngannou. It's expected that in August, John Jones will fight the winner of that fight. You got to expect that a win here for Blaydes or Lewis goes a long way into being in the third heavyweight title fight of 2021. In the co-main event, we have a women's top 10 bantamweight matchup where former Invicta FC champion, number 7 ranked Yana Kunitskaya takes on Brazil's Caitlin Vieira. Vieira, a more skilled and well-rounded grappler, but more of a thudding brawler on the feet, while Kunitskaya is a well-versed technical kickboxer. It'll be interesting to see whose will can impose on the others. The main card will also see in an intriguing heavyweight battle Russian submission artist Alexei Oleinik, the master of the Von Flue choke, against Philadelphia police officer Chris Daukaus, a very technical striker who has a smooth jab and a big overhand right. Then you have middleweights opening up that main card, and this one, 2 prospects to keep an eye on. Nashar Imamov, who's 9-2 on a 6-fight win streak, has 7 finishes, 3 of them by knockout and 4 submissions, faces Phil Hawes. Hawes, 100% finishing rate. His 9 wins, 7 knockouts, 2 submissions. Also on the main card, heavyweights, Andrei Arloski, the former heavyweight champion who's won 3 of his last 4, faces Tom Aspelin. Aspelin looking for the biggest win of his career. He has a 100% finishing rate. 8 of his 9 wins come by knockout, and he's won 5 in a row by first round knockout. A name to highlight that might not be on the tip of everybody's tongue on this prelims, but you're going to want to circle because he's going to have a great performance. Jared Gordon. The guy had looked great at lightweight. Has had 1 fight since moving down to featherweight, and that one, it gave you all you need to know. The guy will be in the top 15 of this 145-pound division. He can grapple, he can strike, and I think he's going to score a devastating finish over Danny Chavez. So that's one for everybody to keep an eye on. You got to see that there's legends on this card. Former WEC bantamweight champion Eddie Weiland looks to turn back time as he takes on John Castanda. That one is going to be an on-the-feet fireworks kind of back and forth striking affair. On short notice, Luis Pena is going to be jumping in to take on Dakar Close. Pena can grapple, but he prefers to strike. Close can strike, but he prefers to grapple. Again, see whose will be imposed on each other. And another great one flying under the radar, Chaz Skelly, 18-3, taking on Jamal Emmers, 18-5. Skelly, tremendous grappling, great chokes, always tough. His striking is underrated. Well, Emmers is all around smooth with a great striking background. That one is a under the radar fight of the night candidate, Skelly versus Emmers. So you got a lot to look forward to on UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Lewis, and we could see a heavyweight top contender come out of that main event. Cage Minds MMA show, presented by CageMinds.com.